Let's start with a brief understanding of the term reliability. Now, when it comes to primary data, especially statistical data, reliability means that it is proven to be of consistent nature and that it's accurate. Establishing this consistency and accuracy is important because without them, the primary data cannot be considered credible. Just like in the field of medical sciences, where clinical trials need to be conducted before a drug goes on the market, non-medical fields also need to prove the reliability of the statistical models. Now, there are multiple ways to check the reliability of primary data, but Cronbach's alpha is the most popular one because it can be applied on different types of data. Other methods such as split half method are not very popular due to their restricted applicability. Coming back to the point of the need for reliability test, a typical quantitative dataset has multiple categories of data, which we call as factors. Now, the more number of factors, the more complex the data becomes. Cronbach alpha test proves that all these factors are interlinked and they are in fact not irrelevant to the overall objective of the study. Let me now explain the importance and procedure of conducting Cronbach's alpha test using an example. The purpose of my study was to examine how gender affects students' school performance. This became my hypothesis and I wanted to prove it using primary data. So I first designed the questionnaire as my survey instrument, which consisted of many items. First was the student's gender. The next few questions were related to the student's performance in school. They were presented in the form of statements using Likert scale of 1 to 5. 1 represented very poor, 2 represented poor, 3 represented average, 4 represented good, and 5 excellent. The next thing I did was distribute this questionnaire to the class teachers of grade 7 of a school and ask them to give me the performance ranking for every student. My target was 100 students. The teachers filled the questionnaires for every student based on their performance during the past 1 year. I collected, coded, and entered this data in MS Excel. The next thing I did was run the chi-square test between gender as the independent variable and the school performance as the dependent variable. From the results of the test, I proved my hypothesis that gender affects students' performance. However, when I distributed the same questionnaire in 3 other schools in another region, it showed me radically different findings. Many responses were blank, some showed duplication, and when I ran the chi-square test again, the results were inconsistent throughout. Because of these problems, I had to reject my original findings. I realized that I had missed a critical step in statistical testing of proving the reliability of my questionnaire first. So the first thing I did to remedy this was to run the Cronbach alpha test on the data of the first 100 students of grade 7. It revealed the Cronbach alpha value of 0.7, which is not good enough to be acceptable. According to many other researchers that I found from my literature review, a number close enough to 0.8 is acceptable. So, I had to first modify the questionnaire and improve its reliability score by removing the questions which are compromising its reliability. So, I ran the same test for every question. I ran the Cronbach alpha test using SPSS software for item-wise. The option of item-wise Cronbach alpha test shows the reliability score of each statement separately. That is, what your overall Cronbach's alpha value will be if you delete an individual statement from the questionnaire. If any statement's value is more than the overall Cronbach's alpha value, then by deleting the statement from the questionnaire and running the Cronbach alpha test again, will show an improved score. For example, in this dataset, if I delete the last statement from the questionnaire, which is the group work participation one, I will be able to bring the overall score up to 0.761 from 0.7. So my next step was to remove this statement entirely from my dataset. Then I ran the Cronbach alpha test again on the remaining data. 0.761 is the improved score, And since it is closer to 0.8 than 0.7, that is my original Cronbach alpha score, my questionnaire is now more reliable and acceptable. Similarly, I removed the statement data from the other three schools also. This time, my hypothesis results were consistent with the first school's data. It proved that gender does have an impact on students' school performance in every case. Therefore, I was able to prove my hypothesis.